Hey, it's Ryan Dahl here from PraiseCharts, and today I'm with Dan Galbraith, and we are going to dive deep into the world of finale music. This is the program that sits behind all the beautiful arrangements that we have at PraiseCharts, and today we are together going to show you, one, how you can get finale files included with your orchestration or piano vocal files. Secondly is, once you get that finale file, how you can change keys up or down a semitone very quickly. Thirdly, how you take an arrangement and how you can remove a section if you want to take a section out, or if you want to add a section in. Those are three very simple things that you can do with finale. So we're going to meet with Dan Galbraith. He is the man behind all of our orchestrations and so many of our piano vocal charts and lead sheets and choir sheets and all that. So he's going to take us in behind the scenes. All right, Dan, are you ready to dive into finale?
I am ready, sir.
Let's do it. Okay, we're going to start in the world of PraiseCharts. This is where it all begins for so many people, and I just want to show you how you can actually get a finale file at no extra charge. So we're going to look through here on the home page, and I'm going to take our top song right now, Agnus Dei, King of Kings. This is from Hillsongs. If we just click on that right there, we can see that it starts with the chord chart, but if I click over here, I can see all the different products. And you can see here, we've got the chords, the piano vocal pack. All of these parts underneath the piano vocal pack are actually included in this. So you can purchase any of these individually or save more than 50% when you buy the piano vocal pack. Same with the orchestration. Now the orchestration includes the piano vocal pack, which is of course all of those products up there, and it includes the string pack, brass pack, wind pack, and the finale. So you can see here that if I add the piano vocal, just as an example, I'm going to actually be buying it. This is how fast you can buy an arrangement at PraiseCharts. Boom, couple of seconds, and the screen should reset, and you're going to see that when I go back to all of the products, there they are. All that I bought was that one single line, and it included everything here, including the finale file. So the same thing would happen if you bought the orchestration. All of that would be included. So now we want to head back to Dan, and Dan's going to take us into the world of what you're going to do with that zip file and hopefully take away some of the intimidation factor and give you a few simple skills that you can use to modify that part. So Dan, let's go to your screen and see where we're starting. Take it away, Dan.
Okay, well, this is a folder that I've created for this one particular song, House of the Lord by Phil Wickham.
Right.
And when you purchase a orchestration finale packet or file, it will come with two different files inside, at least. That original orchestration, the original key, and then an alternate key. Each of them will have their own finale files, and I believe they'll be in a zip file. Is that correct, Ryan?
That's right.
And you'll need to unzip them and then put them into, whatever folder you want. Now, if you're buying the piano vocal pack, they'll have the same names of those files with a light or something along those lines at the end. And I'll show you what the difference is. So let's open up one of these first, the original orchestration file in Finale. And the first page you come to is a nice big view of what prints out for the score. And we'll get to some more finale things in a minute, but let's also open up the light version of the same song. And this is basically the same thing, except we've removed all of the orchestra parts. So let me compare the two from a different view in Finale. This is the original orchestration and includes the lead sheet all the way down through. Here's the rhythm section, and then it goes down into the orchestration parts. And then the light version has all of the same stuff on top, and we've just taken out all the orchestration below.
Right,
But
Dan.
both
So
of
then,
them, yes, sir.
Dan, can you show us then how to see the actual pieces of sheet music that would be familiar to me, just like if I opened the PDF? Because that makes
Okay.
the world of Finale a bit more familiar.
Okay. So we have, first of all,
Aha.
This is the this is what opens first. It's the score view. Now, in the case of this is the piano vocal pack, it has you don't use the score view for any kind of print purpose. That's why it's not really formatted for that. But it is the score in Finale is the top of a pyramid. It's the where all of the data lies, and then everything else comes out below it in the parts. If you go up to Document and Edit Parts, you'll see all the parts that are included in this particular file. And you can go and choose each of these parts. Here's the lead sheet. And then here is the piano vocal SATB, etc. And there are also shortcut keys that you can use to just quickly go between them. These are the parts that come with our piano vocal pack. Okay, I'm going to go backwards now. Rhythm, piano sheet, choir sheet, piano vocal, lead sheet. So that's what you're used to seeing printed. You won't see the colors that you see on the screen printed because Finale likes to use colors to help you decipher how to handle certain parts on the page.
So
If I
that's
switch,
definitely something to be aware of, is that when you're opening the piano vocal Finale file, you're going to see in the score view something that isn't very formatted. And that's
no,
because you would never print that out.
that's
That's
correct. Now let
just,
me switch over to the orchestration.
yep.
And this, in contrast, this orchestration file is formatted. So you can see
Mm-hmm.
all the pages look nice and neat. And as I cycle through them, this is what will print out on your printer for the conductor score.
Right.
But again, that's just the top of this pyramid. Now this is a much bigger file. It has under document edit part, these are all the parts now that are included in the main orchestration file. It includes all the brass, it includes percussion, horn, flute, strings, etc. You can go to any of these parts directly to see them, and you can cycle through them again if you learn that shortcut. See all the different parts there. And but you also have the same lead sheet, and you have the same piano vocal as the piano vocal pack does.
All right, so Dan, what we're wanting to do in this little video is show three specific things. We want to look at how to make a quick key change, how to add a section, and how to remove a section. So let's start with the key change. One of the things we want to
Okay.
make people aware of is that you do not want to be doing a key change that is more than just a couple of semitones unless you were prepared to get into the deep level arranging. Dan, do you want to talk about why that might be?
Sure. And let's talk about it from the big orchestra scenario, the full file here. Um, anything we say with regard to this will also apply to the piano vocal pack. But when you change, sorry, when you change keys by a half step, even maybe a whole step, um, generally speaking, that's not going to affect the voicing, the arrangement of the chart in to where things are out of range and you have to rewrite stuff. But you may have to just adjust slightly in terms of how the parts are laid out and how things look on the page. Because even moving a step can cause a beam to flip, and it might run into the forte mark that was there. It wasn't running into before. So those kinds of small things you might need to adjust. But if you adjust the chart by say 3 steps or 4 steps from the key of C to the key of F or G, then you're dealing with vocal registrations of the melody that was sung by the tenor can no longer be sung by the tenor. It has to be moved to the soprano or something. So you need to rearrange the vocals. You might need to rearrange the piano part because when you move what you're playing in the middle of the keyboard up a fifth, it doesn't really sound as good or sound the same. And you might need to revoice your piano to get it back in the middle of the keyboard. If you're dealing with a brass section, um, if you move it up a fifth, the trumpets are going to be screaming and it's not going to work as well. You might need to revoice all of that down and rearrange all the brass parts. So that's why a large key change is much more involved than a small key change would be. Half step is no problem, and we can show you that here in just a minute.
And you can imagine that when you want a key change, and many people, they often will come and request them from us with praise charts. It's not just as simple as a little quick 5 minute, just move it up five semitones or down five semitones. There's a lot of rearranging that has to go into play, which is why if we ever have the key that is available that you want, you're best to just get it from praise charts from one of the keys that we already have. But if we don't have
Right.
it, then here's a tip that you can just nudge things up or down just a semitone so that you're not deep into the level of complex arranging.
Let's say you bought the lead sheet
All
and you
right.
want to move it a half step because it's just
All
a
right.
little bit too high. Let's go from B flat down to A. Now in finale, you would use this. Everybody's toolbar might look a little bit different. I've arranged mine to the tools that meet my needs the most commonly. But you'll find a tool called the key signature tool. It has two little flats on it like that. And you'll use that tool. And you can click to the left of the staff and highlight all of the music. Then right click over that highlight and choose the key of A, for example. And voila, you're in the key of A. And all of the chords above the staff have changed appropriately. And all the notes have been shifted, in this case, down from, one half step. If you go through here and look, you might see a couple of places where a beam is flipped and it might be running into something and you might want to adjust that. But generally, it's ready to go, ready to print.
It's definitely the beautiful thing about making a key change only a semitone or two is that you don't have to move chords, beams, other kinds of notations, crescendos, decrescendos, all that kind of, they call that
Yeah,
clashing. And then your chart really starts to look
right. Now
subpar.
let's point out this little box up here in the top right-hand corner of all of our charts. Um, this still says the key of B flat because this is not actually connected to any kind of music, and Finale is not going to see that as music. It's just a text box like you might have in graphic, Photoshop, or even a word processor, and you would just using this selection tool, and in on your keyboard, it's just hitting the escape key. It'll always select that tool. You can double click on this text box and go in there and change it to A, just like you would a word processor. The reason we have this box at the top right hand corner is because in the case of orchestrations, when a librarian is handling, the clarinet part and the flute part and the alto sax part and the French horn part and the trumpet and all these, a lot of times they all have different transpositions. They'll actually written, even though they're in the key of A, the trumpet's going to be in the key of B and the horn is going to be in the key of E, etc. And so the librarian, if you have this chart in more than one key, they need to know what parts go with what key. And so this box keeps all those, it makes it easy to recognize which parts go with which key. So if
Right
you're
on.
making your key change, you probably want to change that key box too, just so it doesn't look confusing to anyone using your music.
So let's assume, Dan, that you've got your chart now in the right key. Maybe it started in the key of B. You didn't want to play all those sharps, so you moved it down to B flat. But now you want to add, well, actually, let's just start with removing a section. Let's say the intro is way too long and you need to get into the song a lot quicker. So we're going to go back to your computer here
Yeah.
and let's take this song, House of the Lord, and see what would it look like. I think there is an 8-bar intro. What if we made that into a 4-bar intro? Do you want to show us that?
Okay. Now, if you're just using the lead sheet, you could accomplish all that from this view in this part. You can actually make the changes right here. Realize that it's going to also be echoed in all the other parts and in the score. I always recommend to go to the score to make big structural changes like this. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
do that. I'm going to switch back to the score. I'm also going to go into what we call scroll view instead of page view, because in scroll view, we actually see everything that is in the file. And page view is actually only things that I want to actually print. But when I'm actually dealing with the data of the file, the structure of the song, all those things, I like to work out of scroll view. Like I said, you could work from the part. but you may not see all of the ramifications that you would see if you work here in scroll view. So we were wanting to shorten this by 4 bars.
Yep, we're going to take an 8-bar intro and turn it into a 4-bar intro.
So this song starts with kind of a down intro, or a less complex, and then it kicks into a more complex 4 bars after that, and then it goes back to a down verse, which is a softer verse. So I would say maybe we want to get rid of the big part.
Sure.
And now it might be worth noting, first of all, how did I do that? How did I just highlight all this? Well,
Yeah.
I'm using my selection tool again. I just hit escape and it always takes me there. And I select that verse, that measure, and all the way through this measure. And then I double click to get the whole stack. This will get all of the different parts. And at this point, I can right click and choose all kinds of things like cut, copy, etc., etc., etc. Delete measure stack, which is what I'm going to do here. Delete the stack, and all those bars are gone. What else went left though? You know, the intro to the vocal right here left. So let me undo that. Before you made that cut, you might want to take this and move it to the end of those 4 bars there.
Mm-hmm.
And now make your cut. And now, see, now you kept your vocal pickup into the bar. And you also lost your double bar. You could double click or right click here and choose a double bar line. And now you have your 4 bar intro.
Right on.
Simple as that.
Well, maybe we should go the opposite direction. And this might be a great place to start from is let's say that we wanted to take a 4-bar intro and turn it into an 8-bar. Now, there could be 2 possible ways to do this because you could just put a repeat symbol in there, or you could actually add all of the 4 new bars and perhaps make some
Right.
modifications.
Okay. Actually, yeah, okay, we'll just do it from here. So let's say we wanted to double this intro.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, you just find the range. You don't actually need to get the full stack for this particular change, but you can select that range, right click and go under repeats here, and then choose create simple repeat, which is just going to put a repeat bar at the front and a repeat bar at the back. And you're done. You've created a repeat for that section.
Boom.
Now here's something you might want to consider. Since the vocal comes in at the end of that, you don't want them to sing the first time around. You could insert a measure stack, just 1 bar here. You can copy this over here and have 2 of those. You can erase that vocal right there, just by selecting it and hitting delete or backspace. It depends on your computer. And then you can create under repeats, you can create first and second ending like that. Now you have a repeat without the vocal and then a repeat with the vocal in leading in. Oh, I have to get rid of that as well. Leading into the next section. That's one way to do that. Now you were wanting to double the length of it. I can't remember what your next challenge was there, right?
Yeah, my next challenge, well, is to basically just take a 4-bar intro and we want to make it into 8 bars. So you're going to have to find a way to get 4 new bars in there.
Because you want to make it bigger, make it longer, maybe change the second 4 bars, okay?
That's right.
Well, let's get rid of our repeat here. Back to where we were before. Deletes here, okay? I'm selecting things with this selection tool. I'm just clicking on stuff and hitting delete on my keyboard. A lot of times that will do the job. So we want to insert 4 bars here. In this case, since I want to keep this vocal pickup right here, I'm going to insert the 4 bars right at this spot, okay? So I'm going to click on that bar, right click, and say insert measure stack. A measure stack just means, from the top to the bottom of the score, all these parts are going to have the same amount of measures inserted. And we'll insert 4 blank measures there, okay? Now we can just copy. Well, first of all, Well, you can put whatever you want to in here. This is 4 bars. I might put the end of the four bars over, drag and copy them over here, and then take the beginning of the 4 bars, the first 3 measures, and drag and copy those over here, and delete the things I don't need, like this stuff, which is just same as the very beginning, which we don't need that here. And what am I missing? That bar there. That's this E-sus bar. Copy that and paste it. And get rid of the vocals. That's about it. And you can copy and paste from all over your score to wherever you want to.
Right on. Dan, one of the things that I find when I open up one of our finale files that I download, this is my immediate first impression, a little bit intimidation, is that there's these lock symbols. And so could you just show us a little bit about how to make sure your finale file is ready to edit and isn't locked up before we make some of these modifications?
Okay, so we're in, let's revert to our previous state, the original file.
Yeah.
We'll go over to the lead sheet part, for example. And you're talking about these symbols here, right?
I sure am. Yep.
Okay, so these are actually, I show them because they're important for me to see sometimes. Because what that does is it tells me that, you see, if you don't have these things here, let me show you an example. I'm going to take them out. And if you were to change, now they automatically spaces left to right. And if you were to change enough of the content of a line, it might decide to put another, to move this bar up here, for example, and it would change all the layout I have, all the work I've done on this particular part, in terms of layout, in terms of keeping things from clashing, and how wide I have things spaced out, all that. So having these systems locked keeps Finale from automatically reorganizing all the measures on the systems, okay? The reason that's important with key changes is because if you go from the key of B that has 5 sharps, right? It takes a lot more space right here, left and right, and it can sometimes bump a measure down to the next bar, which has this domino effect all the way through the chart.
Right.
And
Right.
it can mess up a lot of things that you have to go back and fix. Where the reality is, if you're just squeezing in 5 sharps instead of 2 flats, well, let's just try it. We'll change it to the key of B. And, you know, I don't mind it squishing things just a little bit. Finale might think, this is too squished. I'm going to push this bar down and everything else is messed up behind it. I don't want it to do that because I don't want to rework all that spacing. So those locks are for that purpose, to keep, when you do a key change, to keep Finale from respacing the whole thing because it doesn't really understand what you want.
I noticed that you had a quick little keystroke to turn the locks on and off. So what was it that you did there?
Well, you first of all select the range, and it's just U for unlock.
Okay. So easy.
I think under here you'll probably find it somewhere in our menu. I don't know, but you unlock, and see, look what happens. I unlock it, and since I had changed the key to 5 sharps, look what Finale decided to do. It decided to mess up all my beautiful spacing. So I'm going to undo that part, and that's what it should be. Okay, and U for lock, and then L for lock. I'm sorry, U for unlock and L for lock. So you can always still move things up and down between systems. Click on a bar, use your up arrow and down arrow, and you can manually adjust things that way if you want to.
Well, I know that Finale is a very deep level program. You've been studying it and going deep into all the various menus, the settings and customizations. And I mean, good grief, you're making several orchestrations a week, which most people are not even getting anywhere close to that. In fact, that's what we're trying to save you from doing by coming to PraiseCharts. We're trying to save you all the headache and the work, the deep level work that goes into arranging all the songs that we do. However, we do offer these finale files, again, at no extra charge. It's like giving away the treasure chest beneath PraiseCharts. Sometimes I wonder, I don't know why we do this, but we really want to help you and resource you. But consider that we are trusting you with like our deep treasures. So I hope you can appreciate the level of work that goes into creating those files, and be encouraged that with a few little tips you can make some minor modifications to these files to make them relevant to your own worship needs.
And
Dan?
as you become more familiar with Finale, you can
Yeah.
learn to make more major modifications. One advantage to having bought or downloaded one of our Finale files is you have a template in your hands now that we have evolved over several years. Most
Yeah.
recently, 2 years ago, I rebuilt the template from the ground up, and it has our particular look. It has our particular style. It has our particular, you know, expressions. The mezzo forte, for all the different kinds of expressions that we use in PraiseCharts. All those are included in the template. And if you order an orchestration file and just erase all the orchestration and leave the bars there, then you have a template that you can use yourself and build from the ground up. Or
Yeah.
just take what we have, and as you learn more, you can make a lot of adjustments. You can completely rewrite the brass or completely rewrite the strings, or whatever suits your needs for your particular church.
Right on. Well, I hope that you're finding yourself encouraged, resourced, and a little bit equipped to use these Finale files. I do want to just make one final note that if you're interested in getting the Finale parts for that song that we literally just loaded up a few days ago, brand new from Phil Wickham, House of the Lord, you can go to praisestars.com/76439. That's the ID number for that song, and we've got the charts there ready for you. So thank you, Dan, for taking some time with us, taking us into your behind-the-scenes look into these great Finale files. Thank you for all the work that you do, the way you serve thousands and thousands of worship leaders and musicians and orchestra directors all around the world, and helping many different musicians give their praise to the Lord. So we're grateful for that. Grateful for you. I hope you have a great Sunday, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.